Did you know that despite what people, the majority, would have you believe, according to the CDC, 58% of Black fathers live with one or more of their children. 72.7% of Black fathers take an active part in their children's lives. 47% of Black children live in a two-parent home, whether married or not. So, yeah, I want to celebrate Black fathers for Father's Day. But there are surprisingly barely any plays that I know of or have been able to find, even in my research, discussing Black fathers in a positive light, even Black plays by Black playwrights. So instead, we're going to analyze the Black father on the stage, specifically in Broadway and more prominent. So we're going to start off by talking about some more prominent fathers on stage. Fences explores the ever-evolving African-American experience and examines race relations among other themes. The protagonist of Fences is Troy, who is a very responsible man whose dreams were thwarted, making him prone to believing in self-created illusions. Every other character in Fences has some kind of complicated relationship with Troy. Troy is a very flawed character, driven by his past bitterness and his own self-created delusions. He instigates conflict with his family and everyone around him by imposing his rigid worldview on them and sabotaging their own aspirations, particularly his son, Corey, which has led to a very strained relationship between him and Corey, only further highlighting his own hypocrisy. Corey has a bright future in football, something Troy is very bitter about because of his past experience with the Negro League. And, of course, because he assumes that Corey will put all his eggs in one basket like he did and fail, despite the fact that Corey and Troy's wife Rose seeing football as a way for Corey to get into a good college, Troy believes Corey will fail like him. So instead of just letting life take its course, he sabotages Corey's high school football and his meeting with a scout, which consequently destroys any chance for Corey to be able to attend college. Troy wants everyone else around him to live their lives responsibly, while he has an affair, rebels at work against racist practices, and protests at work as well. Troy's toxic relationship with his wife, but mostly his son, is a view of how many fathers back in the day used to be, and how some still see strong, strict Black fathers. But many Black fathers are kind, loving, honest, while being hardworking and building healthy relationships with their children, spouses, and peers. In A Raisin in the Sun, Walter, our main character, is both the protagonist and antagonist at times. Walter frequently clashes with his family, particularly his wife, his mother, and his sister beneath him, who does kind of antagonize him from time to time. But it's because he struggles to listen and understand their concerns. He's so fixated on his own vision of achieving wealth and believing that he can single-handedly lift the family out of poverty. It's this self-centeredness that creates attention and prevents him from recognizing the importance of a shared dream among his family members. However, throughout the play, Walter does go through a very crucial transformation. Eventually, he realizes that he alone cannot raise the family from poverty. And by finally listening to his mother and wife express their desires and really taking it in, he realizes that their collective well-being is more valuable than any get-rich-quick scheme out there. So he shifts his focus from the individual ambitions that he has to the shared aspirations for his home and for his family, which is a greater treasure than money. So while Walter is nowhere near as toxic as Troy, Walter still suffers from the same stereotype of a man who believes that because he is leader, that only his desires should be taken into account, and not taking his family's concerns and thoughts into consideration. His wife is exhausted from caring for the house and children non-stop, even while pregnant, and she's also the mediator for the arguments between her husband and his sister. Life has not been kind to Walter, that is for sure. It makes him feel less of a man, and unfortunately because of that, he tends to miss out and forget about the important things that come with raising a family. Now we're going to talk about some background dads and some stories that the Ruby Bridges story with her father, Avon. Her father, despite being a huge and important part of her life, has a very small role in the play. There's also the play Stick Fly by Lydia Diamond, which is about a family in turmoil that features a father in a more prominent role, but the play as a whole is about the family. Black fathers are a very important part of culture, um, development, and care for Black children. Black fathers are positive and active figures in our lives, in many lives, and much more than the world gives them credit for. And they deserve to be highlighted just like anyone else. And there are probably some plays out there from Black theater in the past, lost to time, kind of like how King Shotaway was, or even now there are just smaller productions that haven't gotten recognition they deserve. And even if there aren't any, that just means it's time to make some new ones. And so, if you would like to learn about the history behind some actual musicals out there, including some I may have mentioned, you can click on my History Behind the Musical playlist. If you're looking for something a little different, you can click on a video suggested to you by YouTube. And until next time, thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you later.